And we are live.
Hi, welcome to Hoopla Book Talk from the Cromwell Belden Public Library. I am Christy Chrysler. I am an LTA, Library Technical Assistant. It took me a sec to remember what that was. And I am in the audiobook / empty, for now, study section of the library.
Hi, I'm Emma. I'm the adult librarian here, and I am in my empty office.
Hello, I'm Emily. I am the Children's and Teen Services librarian. I will try not to spend as much as I just was. I am in my office with its very bare walls, ready to chat books.
Yay! Okay, so we're each going to review or talk about 2 books that we are excited about that we have found on Hoopla, so that they are easily accessible to our patrons. So my first book I'm very excited about because it's one I'm about 60% of the way through and it has me in its grip. So it's called A Winter's Promise. I don't have the physical copy here, I'm sad to say, but here's what the cover looks like, on phone anyway. It is by Christelle Dabos. I don't speak French and she is French, so I'm sorry if I just butchered her name. It is YA, but it doesn't read, so sometimes I love YA and sometimes I loathe YA because it can read, sometimes, I don't know, they get all up in their feelings a lot because they're teenagers and blah. But that is not this. I don't know if that's because it's a French translation. I guess it's an English translation of a French novel. But it is so good. It's about a young gal, and she lives on an arc. So the world has basically shattered into all these different pieces or arcs, and they're just, from what I can picture, they're just floating in the sky. And she is betrothed. It's a diplomatic betrothal onto another arc. And so I was a little worried when I was reading about it. I thought, I don't need another YA romance right now. Sometimes I do, but I don't right now. But it's not that, at least so far. There's a lot of intrigue. She's having to get by in a somewhat hostile environment based on her own wits and talents, and I love it so far. It's the first in a quartet. The first 3 have been translated into English. The first one, this one, A Winter's Promise, is available on Hoopla, and you should read it.
It sounds really good. I'm probably reading it next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my first book is one that we read for the Cromwell Library Thursday night book club when we still all gathered together here for book clubs. And it is called The News of the World by Paulette Jiles. It's available on Hoopla. And it's about a lot of things, but it takes place in the aftermath of the Civil War with a captain, Jefferson Kyle Kidd, who is a former Civil War captain, who is now sort of making his way through the world by delivering news out to much further outposts in the West. And so he literally gets newspapers when he's in civilized areas and then brings and reads those newspapers out loud because a lot of people can't read and there's no newspaper service. And he gets asked to deliver a young girl named Joanna back to her family because she was stolen in a Kiowa raid. And so it sort of follows his taking that task on and then traveling with Joanna, who's like, I think 6, who's been raised by Kiowa raiders from basically infancy back to civilization, and sort of the 2 of them forming a very unlikely pair, friendship, and dealing with that like tension between civilized, uncivilized, outsiders, not outsiders, and lots of drama and adventure going on there. It's really good. It's sort of literary fiction, so it reads beautifully. And the book club really liked it, I think. So it comes highly recommended from me, at least.
Yay!
That's it.
Okay, I'm going to do my children's book first. So if you are like me, or your kids are like me, you love the zoo, and while everyone is stuck at home right now, you, like me, love the Cincinnati Zoo on Facebook. They've been doing home safaris with all of their animals. It's the cutest thing ever. So we have a book that has not arrived yet, but just came out today, and will also be at the library, called What Do You Do If You Work at the Zoo? There it is right there. And it is really fascinating because it's very simple for younger kids. but it has some facts that would interest older kids as well. And basically, it just is like going through the obscure jobs that people who work as zookeepers do. So it has like giving an elephant a pedicure, when they have to trim their toenails, or cuddling a joey. And so it just says the basic job, but then it also gives you like a short little 2 or 3 sentence paragraph, like detailing why zookeepers do that and what it does for the animals. But it's all of the interesting stuff, not just like basic taking care of an animal, feeding an animal. It's as interesting as bottle feeding a baby giraffe. And there was one, scratching a tapir's back, because they usually like getting their back scratched and they need to itch off any bugs that they have. So it's really cute, and I think it's a really good tie-in because there's lots of zoos doing cool stuff right now while people are stuck at home. And I am very much in zoo Facebook stalking mode because it's making me happy. And this book goes really nicely with that, and it's like interesting for younger kids and older kids, just because of the information it has. So yes, that is What Do You Do? Well, there it is. If you work at the zoo. Look at how cute all the animals are. Oh, there's the tapir in the green. Right there. That's the tapir getting its back scratched. That's all.
Okay, that does look really cute.
Yes,
I'll have to look at it when it comes in. Okay, so my second book I have not read yet. It is called, let me pull up the cover, A Morbid Taste for Bones, and it is by Ellis Peters, and it's the first in a series, The Chronicle of Brother, and it came out, it's something I haven't heard of. There it is. It came out in 1970, and it has over 30,000 reviews on Goodreads, and it's very highly rated. So it's apparently just like a murder mystery type / historical fiction series that I just haven't heard about before. It hasn't been on my radar, but it sounds really good. I could use a different, a change in scenery at this point. So kind of time traveling via this book to the year, I think it's 1136, medieval Wales sounds pretty delightful to me. The main character is a monk. That's also delightful. I think at his abbey, he is, what did I read? He does something, he's the herbalist maybe? And hopefully in reading this book, I will figure out exactly what that means in 1136 Wales. And he has to get these bones and he has to transfer them to the place, but the villagers don't like that because I don't know why yet. But despite the way I'm describing it, the internet makes it sound really good. So I can't wait to dive into it. And yeah, have a little bit of escapism.
Nice. Yeah, and with good reviews like that on Goodreads, you know it's going to be solid. So
Yeah,
that's exciting to find. Okay, so my second book I also haven't read yet. The last book I talked about was one the book club has read here at the library. So my next one is one that I'm hoping we'll read very soon since it's available on Hoopla. It is Julia Alvarez's new book, Afterlife, all one word. Oh, I'll pull it up on my phone here for you all. This one right here, it's quite pretty.
That's a nice
It's
cover.
actually, it's not too big of a book. I remember when it came in sort of just before we had to shut down, and it's maybe 200-ish pages. So that's Julia Alvarez, the author of In the Time of the Butterflies and a lot of other really well-loved books. Yeah, so it is about Antonia Vega, who is an immigrant writer and a college professor, follows her life right after retiring when her world sort of turns upside down. Her husband dies suddenly, her sister disappears, and then a pregnant undocumented teenager shows up on her doorstep. So she is dealing with all of these crises all at once in this very, very short, quick format, beautiful writing because it's Julia Alvarez. And it sort of explores a lot of questions that I think a lot of us are sort of grappling with right now, like what do you owe other people? What do you do in a crisis? What does community mean to you? Things like that. What's family? And Julia Alvarez explores those concepts really beautifully. I'm excited. I've started reading it and I'm excited to get through it. So, yeah.
Very nice. Okay, my last one is, we have it in our teen graphic novel section, but it's really a comic that is bound together. The issues are bound together in volumes. It is called Giant Days. This is the cover. All of the volumes that are out so far are on Hoopla. And it's a quick read because if you've read like Lumberjanes, they're very skinny because it's just comic issues, like 8 of them per volume. But basically, this is really good for older high school age teens or even college age teens. It is set in England. I don't know where in England. They don't outright say it's England. You just kind of gather that from reading it. But it is about these 3 girls who become friends their freshman year, and it just follows them through their time in college. And it's just really like normal and entertaining and has a very funny ensemble cast. So like the cover of this one has Esther, who is goth and over dramatic and hilarious, and then there's Daisy, who is super smart, and she like explores her sexuality during the series, which gets to be very, very funny because of one of the people she dates. And then Susan, who's the other girl, is just this like grumpy personality. So it's like this weird mash of characters together, and you just want to like meet all of them in real life and be their friends, and even their other friends have wacky personalities too. And so I think it's really good right now because it's a quick read, it's got pictures, so it's nice and light reading, and it's just like funny and entertaining and just normal. So it's really good. Like it's just enjoyable. And there's a lot of volumes. There's, I think, at least 12 of them out right now. And it's wrapping up soon. I'm very sad about that, but it's lesser known and underappreciated for just being just a good, solid comic, like contemporary comic read, which is what I like about it. So, yes. And I was the last person to go, so thank you so much for bearing with us. If there are any types of books, genres, age ranges you're interested in particular, let us know in the comments, and we will try to pick some for our next book talk. And also, we will have in the description of this video or the caption on Facebook a list of all of the books we discussed, because we want you to be able to find them, check them out, enjoy them. And thank you so much for joining us, and we hope everyone is staying safe and having a good week or weekend as this goes up on Friday. Bye, you guys.
Bye.